Welcome back to the Word from the Woodshop. I am in the planning process of building new kitchen cabinets for our house. And when you build cabinets, there's a lot of parts to them that all have to get connected to each other. And you can't just slap some glue on it and pound some nails in because it won't be structurally sound. So there's a lot of joints you can make to put all these parts together so they hold together well, so they're built properly and they'll last. There are joints like a rabbet where you cut a groove along one side and put a board in and it gives you a good glue joint. Then you can run some nails in or just clamp it together and the glue will hold it. It's good and strong. That's good for like putting backs on or drawer bottoms and stuff like that. Then there's a groove you can cut in the side, a dado joint, where a board goes into that. That's good for shelves and tops and bottoms and different things. And again, it's got a lot of glue surface, so it holds together really good. There are also things like mortise and tenon joints, where you cut a square hole in one and a matching tongue in the other, and they come together and they're really structurally sound. It works great for doors, door frames, and things like that. Then there's other joints like biscuit joints, or little wooden biscuits. You cut slots in two boards and you can glue two boards together. Again, it's a good strong glue joint. So all these joints have specific purpose. Each one does a certain job. And with it, when they all come together, the cabinet is good and solid and it's strong and it'll last. If you take one joint out and just go without it, it isn't as strong, it isn't built as well. And there's other joints you can make. I didn't make them, but there's like dovetail joints. You can use that on drawer corners, and it's a beautiful joint. It takes a lot of time and skill to do it, but in the end it looks really good. But in the whole scope of the cabinet, it isn't one joint that stands out. It's all the joints working together to make the cabinet. The cabinet needs all those different joints. So look with me a minute at 1 Corinthians 12. It's talking about the same sort of thing. And here the writer is talking about spiritual gifts within the church. He's saying that God has given everyone in the church a spiritual gift, something to be used within the church body. This church body, he's saying, and he likens it to a human body. You're not all a toe, you're not all an eye. You can't say because I'm an eye, the rest of you aren't part of the body. It takes all these members, just like the joints, it takes everyone and their own unique spiritual gift to be a part of the church, to make the church work properly. If one person is missing, there's a spiritual gift that's lacking. There's a part of the body that isn't being done right, isn't being cared for. It takes everybody working together. And the neat part is, just like there's not one joint in the cabinet that says, hey, I'm the best joint in the cabinet, there's no one in the church that can say, the church wouldn't be the same without me. It's everybody working together, and everybody within the church, hear this, everyone in the church has a spiritual gift. You may say, well, I can't teach a class, and I can't be an elder or a deacon, I can't clean up after people. I can't do that. I don't have a spiritual gift. Everyone has a spiritual gift, because if you're a part of the body, there's something that you can give to the body. Maybe it's not a big thing. Maybe it's simple as an encourager. You see people who are hurting and down, someone who needs a little pat on the back and a cheering up, and you're a good cheerleader. You can do that sort of thing. Maybe it's hospitality, where you love to just have people over to your house and take care of them and throw parties, or have a Bible study group at your house, and you're the host of all of that. All the gifts are necessary within the church. They all play the same part, building up the body, encouraging one another, and taking care of the church. Listen to what it says in Hebrews 10, verse 24 and 25. Let us consider how to stir up one another to love and good works, not neglecting to meet together as is the habit of some, but encouraging one another all the more as you see the day drawing near. There's a couple things in there I want to point out. These spiritual gifts are meant to encourage one another, to take care of one another, to make the church be the church. But here's another thing. If I was to make a joint for the cabinets, and there I got a joint made, and then stick it off on a shelf somewhere and not put it in the cabinet, it doesn't do any good. It doesn't do the joint any good, and it certainly doesn't help the cabinet at all. It's the same way being part of a church, but not part of it. I know there was a lot of stuff that went on in the last few years, and some people are very comfortable sitting at home and watching church on TV. And that may work for some. But hear me, that is not what's best for the church, and it's certainly not what's best for you. You see, you can't be cared for if you're sitting at home, not as easily. And by the same token, you have something unique to give to the church, and it's not being used. The church needs everyone coming together, doing their thing, and building the church up and making it wonderful. So you don't know what your gift is. There are spiritual gift surveys you can take. Them sometimes help. Sometimes it's just a matter of talking to some people that know you well and saying, what do you see in me? What gifts do you see in me? There's also just going to church and see what excites you. Maybe sometimes you can get tied in that way. Speaking from experience, sometimes God gives you a gift that you find out it's not something comfortable to do, but it's a gift that He's given you, and you have to use it because He's blessed you with it, and it's your turn to bless the church, His body, with it. So I would encourage you, get tied into a church. If you don't have a church you regularly attend, find some church local that is true to the Word of God, that preaches it in its entirety, in its wholeness, not just to make you feel good, but to make you feel uncomfortable when it's necessary. And get tied into a church. And in the end, the church will be blessed, and so will you. But here's one more side note I want to leave you with before I quit. These joints did not make themselves. That may sound ridiculous, but it's true. These joints did not make themselves. I had to get out, take wood, and make joints, and there they are. It's the same way with spiritual gifts. You have a gift given you by the Lord. It's not something that you conjured up on your own and can say, look what I'm doing for God in the church. It's a gift that He's given you to use for His body. And in the end, you can say, I don't know how I did that. It's got to be God. And in the end, God gets the praise. And that's the way it should be. All these people working together within the local body, within the local church, serving the Lord together, building each other up, encouraging one another, and in the process giving praise to God and honoring Him, for He alone is worthy of praise and glory. And that's the way it should be. Thanks for joining us at the Woodshop. See you next time.